Yes, hello, and welcome back to B&B's Football Happy Hour. I am Bobby, as always, with my man Brian.
What's going on, man? Glad to be back for another week after our bye week, so it's feels good to be refreshed.
Yes, I apologize for that. I had a little trip to Jamaica that I just had to go on, and I thought about doing the show from Jamaica, but I didn't want everyone to get on there and see me in my tank top, tanned up.
Yeah, man.
Beautiful Caribbean Ocean in the background. I don't want to make anyone jealous, so
Yeah,
we held off on that.
We're holding off on the international, remote live. So yeah, maybe we'll get into that in later on down the road.
That's right. Plus, I'm not sure how infatuated with the idea the lady was that I was going to be in Jamaica talking NFL draft prospects.
Yeah. Probably better off. It's better off to take the week off.
I'm sure. Before we get rolling here, we have a lot to cover. Make sure you check out our friends at www.thediaperdust.com for all of your diaper deodorizing needs. And as always, our beats are by Dunson. So when I said we have a lot to cover, I meant it. We're hitting on running backs. We're hitting on O-linemen, defensive tackles, and linebackers. So we are going to have to get things started.
All right.
And before we can talk about that, we got to hit on that Sam Darnold trade that went down during our hiatus. The Carolina Panthers hit up the New York Jets. They sent them a 6th-round pick this year and a 2nd and 4th-round pick next year to have Sam Darnold wearing a Panthers jersey. Now, I don't know about you, but I think this is a great move for both sides, because obviously the Jets are going to be taking a quarterback at 2, Zach Wilson. And what's Darnold going to do? He's going to be a backup. So this allows them to get something for him. Mm-hmm. And the 2nd-round pick is pretty good. You throw in those 2 other extra kickers, and it's not an awful deal for a guy that they were just going to let walk anyway. So At least get something for them. And for the Panthers, they're not breaking the bank. The 2nd-round pick is kind of steep a little bit. But you know what? It's a next year's pick, which they don't have as much value as this year's picks. They're devalued a bit because they're off in the future. And I think Darnold's an upgrade on Teddy Bridgewater. I don't know. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I guess because of the age. I mean, I like Darnold. I think he was in a bad situation with the Jets with Adam Gase. So with Matt Rule, I think it's a better spot for him. I don't know how. I guess he's definitely going to get this year, you know what I'm saying? So I think this is kind of a make or break year for him, you know what I'm saying? So I don't think he's going to get multiple years to kind of show what he's got. I think this year he's going to go out there and improve it, but maybe getting traded kind of, light a little fire under him and he can come out and kind of prove, that he's a legit quarterback in the NFL. And Matt Rule's a good offensive coach, so we'll see. They're going to have Christian McCaffrey hopefully for the full year, and got a few weapons over there in Carolina, so we'll see how he does.
And people say just because Darnold's there and they made the trade, that does not take them out of the running for a quarterback in the first round here. So interesting to see how that plays out. I think that what confuses me the most with this has nothing to do with the Panthers or the Jets. It actually has to do with the San Francisco 49ers. And if they are, in fact, taking Mac Jones, I find it difficult to find a huge difference between Mac Jones and Sam Darnold. Now, and I'm just talking about them as individuals. If you look at their stats, it's not even close. Mac Jones blows them out of the water. But Sam Darnold was at USC. He wasn't surrounded by the immense talent that Alabama has. And he didn't have Nick Saban as a coach, who is arguably the best football coach in college football, maybe of all time in college football. So, because Darnold had a ton of turnovers at USC and obviously didn't fare too well in New York, as you mentioned, with Adam Gase. But a 4th-round pick, a 2nd-round pick, and a 6th-round pick compared to the bounty that the Niners had to trade away to go up to 3. If they end up taking Mac Jones, if it's me, I would prefer Darnold and what it cost me to get him over Mac Jones and what it costs to get him. And believe it or not, I'm pretty sure Sam Darnold is only like 6 months older than Mac Jones. And Darnold's been in the league for 3 years. So I don't know. How you feel about that one?
I think Darnold, they said he's only like 23 still. So he came
Yeah,
he came into the NFL super young. I mean, he was only like a 20-year-old kid when he came to the NFL. So yeah, that's pretty wild. But yeah, when you compare the price tags, I mean, I'd definitely rather have the Darnold price tag than giving up all that capital. I mean, to me, I just don't. I mean, I'm not saying Mac Jones isn't going to be I don't know, he could be a good NFL quarterback, but I mean, I don't know why you give up all that. If they're really going to pick him, that blows my mind. I don't know. I mean,
I'm with you.
that's a lot. I mean, that's a lot to give up for a pocket passer. I mean, he can move around a little bit, maybe a little bit. But man, they got Jimmy Garoppolo, and to me, they're just kind of like the same type of quarterbacks. I mean, Mac Jones might be a little bit better, I guess. You know, he might have a better career, but I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo he was a quarterback that started in a Super Bowl. So I don't know. To me, I mean, I think they have to go Justin Fields, but I don't know. It's a lot of draft capital to give up for Mac Jones.
Sure is.
I don't know.
You know, I'm a Lance guy. I'm sticking with Lance. I refuse.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Kyle Shanahan is going to take Mac Jones at 3.
I'd rather go Lance or Fields there because at least you're drafting
on either one of them over Mac Jones for sure.
I mean, you could sell that to the fan base. You know what I'm saying? Like that ceiling is way higher than Mac Jones. I mean, Mac Jones is the winner, and you can say all that, and he had a hell of a year, and they have some weapons there. I mean, they have some playmakers, but I don't know. Just to give up all that. I mean, if they just had the number 3 pick and didn't have to move up and give all that away, and they said they wanted to take Mac Jones, then I'd say whatever. If that's who you like, that's who you like. But I mean, that's a lot of pressure on him too. I mean, you know,
sure is.
I don't know.
15 months.
Yeah.
Darnold is 15 months older than Mac Jones.
So yeah, and he's got 3 years in the NFL. So
I'm done with the Darnold talk. Yeah. On to the running backs in this year's draft class. And again, we're really only talking about guys who we think have a possibility of going in the first round. Yeah. And one of my favorite players in the entire draft is a running back. It's not this first guy, although I do love him, but my number 1 running back, and I'm not sure how you have yours ranked, but it's Naji Harris from Alabama, 6'2", 229 pounds. The dude is big, and you don't realize how big he is until you look at Derrick Henry, who's 6'3", like 238. So he's only an inch shorter and like 9 pounds lighter than Derrick Henry, when Derrick Henry is an absolute monster. Yeah. Harris is explosive. He is one of the best pass catching backs in this draft. He runs decent routes. He's elusive. He can go inside. He can run outside. The guy refuses to go down. He's got great vision. I mean, he is so well-rounded. He is going to be a very productive player at the next level.
Yeah, it's hard not to like Harris, in my opinion. Like you said, he's a big, powerful kid. I mean, that's what I have down as my note. You know what I'm saying? To me, he's kind of like an old school type running back. I mean, he's that big, powerful. You know, he can bang you up the middle like
he's Derrick a little Henry. Shifty though too. He's more shifty than Derrick Henry is.
Yeah, I was going to say he's got some quick feet and he's got some. He's got some moves. When you watch the tape, I mean, dude's making people miss. I mean, he's not just running people over straight up the middle. And like you said, to me, the biggest thing that sets him apart, and he's number 1 on my list, is he just seems like a natural pass catcher to me. I don't know. He's, out of the 3, I think, you know, he's the most natural pass catcher. I mean, he Agreed. I watch a lot of college football, and obviously Alabama's always on. They're always in the biggest game. And I think in the SEC championship game, this dude had 3 touchdowns receiving. So, I mean, I don't know. But to do that in a big game, I mean, that's tough. And then he had, you know, I think he had 43 catches this year, which is pretty good. I mean, for a running back coming from Alabama, yeah, it's hard not to like him. And he's definitely going to be, a first-round pick, obviously. And
he led the nation in scrimmage yards and touchdowns this past season.
Yeah. So it's hard to, you know, I think he had 30 total touchdowns. I think he had 57 in his career, I think, which is the most for a non-quarterback in Alabama history. So I don't know. He's coming with all the accolades. And like we talked about on our prior episode, you know, it's all about fit. But I think any team that he goes to, he's going to be a force to be reckoned with next year as a rookie. And, you know, he could be a sleeper running back pick there for your fantasy football team.
Yep. Now, the knocks on him, sometimes he plays too tall. I mean, he is tall, but he plays too tall. His pad level's a little too high. And he needs some work in pass pro.
Yeah.
One thing that scares me is that he had 638 carries in college, and that's a lot going
lot of
into
work,
the
yeah.
NFL. It is, and it's a lot of wear and tear on your body. Again, he is big though, so he can probably handle it better than most. One thing I really do like though is he improved each season. So every time he took the field, he improved. Unlike one of our running backs we're going to talk about in a minute, unless you're done with Naji Harris, and we can talk about him right now.
Yeah, I'm done. Let's roll to the next guy. I mean,
All right. The next guy is either everyone's number 2 or maybe their number 1, except for me. Travis Etienne. He's actually my 3rd rated running back, and I'm sure that's going to be met with some boos and disagreements, and that is just fine. But Travis Etienne from Clemson, 5'10", 205, great burst and balance, ridiculous speed. I mean, his 40, he ran a 4.42, so that's great. Naji Harris ran a 4.45. I think people thought Etienne was going to run faster than a 4.42, but if you see this dude on the field, I mean, I don't know what his top end speed is, but he plays even faster than a 4.42, which is pretty incredible. I mean, he can score at any moment. He has improved throughout his career at receiving, so he is a much better receiver than he was his freshman year. He's the all-time leader, rushing leader in the ACC for a career. So, I mean, that says a lot. You know, the ACC's been around forever with a lot of good players coming out of there. He also needs work in pass pro. He could use more patience at times, and he relies on his explosiveness to overcome, like not waiting for blocks to develop. So instead of waiting, he'll just boom and try to get out and go.
Yeah.
But I'm honestly, this guy, he's great. He's probably going to be very good. I don't know. One thing I don't like about him is that, unlike Naji Harris, his rushing production decreased 3 years in a row. And that is, I don't know, that's a little bit of a red flag for me. And he had even more, he had 686 carries in college.
Yeah, that's a lot of work. I didn't know he had that many carries, but yeah, like you said, I mean, this guy, to me, he's the big play. He's always looking for that, that home run, to break that long 75, 80-yard run. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't wait sometimes for those blocks to develop. And to me, he's not going to pound the ball up the middle. So I don't know. I mean, I do like ETN. I mean, that production in the ACC, I think he had 78 career touchdowns. I mean, coming from Clemson, who's playing a pretty good schedule in the ACC. And then, I mean, all 4 years that he was at Clemson, I mean, they're playing in the playoffs. So, I mean, he's playing against top tier talent, and he's producing. And to me, I mean, the workload, I think I went back and looked. I think he only had 20 carries in 2 games in his career. So to me, in the NFL, he's not going to be an every down back. I think he's going to be that rotational guy, which a lot of teams are going to anyway. But yeah, and like you said, I mean, to me, he's not as good of a pass catcher as Naji Harris, and probably the next guy we're going to talk about. I like him more out of the backfield a little bit than ETN, but he's gonna make noise in the NFL. I mean, he can make some big plays. So, I think.
Wait, are you saying ETN is not your number 2?
I don't know. I mean, I guess he is. I mean, I'd like him out of over the next guy we're going to talk about, just because he's played a little bit more, I guess, and he's had a little bit of a longer career and produced a little bit over some more time. But to me, it's not really. It's kind of like 2A and 2B almost. It's not kind of like a 2 and 3. I think the other guy we're going to talk about might have a better NFL career, but I guess we'll have to figure that out. So.
Yes, absolutely, 100%. But now, before I move on, though, I mentioned that ETN's production decreased every year, and I don't need people getting on me like, yeah, well, he played 15 games as sophomore and junior, only 12 this past season. That's not what I'm talking about. Obviously played 3 less games his senior year. He's going to have less rushing yards. What I'm saying is his average yards per carry as a sophomore is 8.1. Then it was 7.8. And as a senior, it was 5.4. That's a huge drop off.
Yeah.
8.1 to 5.4.
Yeah, I mean,
from a sophomore to a senior year. That's a big drop off in yards per carry. Yeah. Now, we're not talking total yards.
It was 3 yards. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what worries me. But I could not agree with you more. Our next guy out of North Carolina, Javonte Williams, 5'10", 212 pounds. And I absolutely believe he is going to have a better career at the NFL level, which is why he's my second rated running back. This guy is So if you want to rate ETN's speed and burst as a 9.5, that's fine. And honestly, one of the key factors, and this is going to sound weird probably to most people, but one of the key factors that had me choose Javonte Williams over ETN was actually ETN's highlight film. Now, normally I just watch highlight films. I don't take too much from it, but I'm watching this guy and play after play after play. These highlights are ETN getting handoffs, running through these enormous holes that his offensive line is creating for him, and no one's touching him as he's outrunning everyone at the end zone. And that's great. Like I said, his speed and burst are his two best attributes. But he's not going to get enormous holes like that, and he's not going to be untouched like that. Our next guy, Javonte Williams, he does not have any quality about him except he's probably not a 9 or a 9.5 on anything really, but he's got a whole lot more 7 and 8s than ETN does. Much more well-rounded in my opinion, solid build. Javonte Williams, he's so smooth of a runner. He's got great subtle moves too. He's strong, and he has maybe the best contact balance in the entire draft. I mean, PFF rated him the second-ranked running back. They have him as the second-ranked running back. So, I mean, this guy is awesome. I think he led the nation in broken tackles. Yeah, he did. It led the nation 83 broken tackles. Yeah, I mean, this guy is legit, dude. Arm tackles are not bringing him down.
Yeah, he's a physical kid, and like you said, breaks tackles. Yeah, I mean, it said he broke more tackles per rush attempt than any other running back since 2014. PFF had that. So yeah, I mean, that'll translate to the NFL. I mean, teams look at that stuff, and he's a big physical kid. I mean, he wasn't a highly recruited kid, but he made his name at North Carolina. They got a good thing going on down there with who the heck's their coach? Mac, the old Texas coach. The old Texas coach.
Mac Brown.
Yeah, Mac Brown. So yeah. And I think
Mac Brown started in North Carolina. I think he left North Carolina with the Texas, retired, and then came back.
Yeah, and then I know North Carolina's got a pretty solid quarterback. I think he'll be
Sam Howell, right?
Yeah, I think he'll be one of the top-rated guys coming out next year. So yeah, they're doing pretty good down there. And I mean, he was definitely a big piece. Played the same schedule as ETN in the ACC, so they're playing the same teams. He produced. He had one big year. That's my only knock on him. I mean, he produced this past year, so he's only got that 1 year of that top quality production. ETN kind of did it over a 3 and 4 year career, or a 3 year career. So I don't know. That's kind of why I have him as my 2B, but I think he might, over the long run have the better career than ETN in the NFL. And some of the when you watch his film, I mean, to me, he almost kind of maybe looks like a Jamal Charles type running back. I don't know. I think he could be like
Williams.
That. Yeah.
I think he's too. He loves contact too much.
Yeah. Well,
Jamal, we talked about Harris and ETN in the passing game. Now, Javonte Williams is not as great of a pass catcher as they are, but he's good enough, and he's awesome in pass pro. He's easily the best of the three in pass protection. That's one of my favorite things to watch about him on film was watching him in pass pro, picking up blitzes and have the defense when they're running crossers and him going to the right place and getting the right guy. I mean, that's tough to teach, and he's got that down. And it's funny because you watch him play and he loves contact so much. And then you hear him in an interview and he's like, well, I wasn't a running back till my senior year of high school. I was a linebacker my whole life, like junior league, up high school up until my senior year. I was a linebacker, and he plays running back like a linebacker. I mean, it's awesome. I love watching him play. He is, and my number one thing, I said it a lot on our last show, is mental. What's going on up here? Well, the dude, when you hear him talk to anyone, he's all football. His whole life revolves around football. And the kid was a valedictorian. I mean, come on. He's smart. He's just obsessed with the game. He's explosive too. 36-inch vertical is good. And he ran a 4.55 40, which is a full 1/10 of a second slower than our other guys. But that's not his game. That's not his style. He doesn't need to run that. I mean, that's kind of, I feel like 4.55 is basically what you expected him to run. However, his short shuttle was a 4.09 and a 6.93 3-cone drill, which, if you don't know, is very quick. So he is quite agile. Love this guy. One of my favorite players in the entire draft.
Yeah, I'm excited to see where he goes. I think he's got a shot to sneak in, I guess, from that. anywhere from 22 to 32, I guess. I don't know. I think he's going to slot somewhere in between there. So I'm excited to see where he goes because you're looking at, teams that are picking the end of the first round are obviously your majority of your playoff teams. You know what I'm saying? So I'm excited to see where he falls.
And don't forget those teams in the beginning half of the second round as well.
That's true. Yeah.
A lot of times they'll trade up into the first round simply to get that 5th-year option.
Yeah, that's true. So, yeah, I'm excited to see where he goes, but I think he's gonna have a decent career in the NFL.
Oh yeah, I'm very excited for this guy. All right, offensive line. This is the deepest offensive line class that I can maybe ever remember. I mean, there's probably 8 guys that have a possibility of going in the first round. And I mean, we'll touch on all of them, probably, some more than others, but I mean, good grief. So this makes me wonder if they're going to go early because, you got the head of the class for sure. And then, we drop off as we go down the line, or if teams are going to be like, you know what, this class is deep. We're going to wait. Kind of like the receivers in last year's draft.
Yeah.
No one saw CeeDee Lamb dropping like 19 or something like that. Everyone was thinking, those 3 receivers are going to go in the top 10 picks. And I don't think any of them did, right? Didn't Ruggs go 11?
Yeah, I think Ruggs went.
Or did he go 10 or 11?
I think it was out of the top 10. Yeah, I think it was 11.
But it's crazy because all these mocks had all 3 of them go in the top 10 and one or none of them did. So I'm very interested to see how this pans out. But who's your number 1 O lineman in this year's draft class?
My number 1 is Penn Sewell from Oregon. I know he opted out this past year, but I don't think it hurt him. 2019, he was an All-American. And I think he won the Outland Trophy, which is the most outstanding interior lineman in college football. So he's got the accolades. And I think, what did he give up? 1 sack and like 1,400 snaps or something like that. So I think he has the best chance to go in the top 10. The other guys are definitely going to be first-round picks, but I think he'll be the first one taken.
He's actually my number 2. Again, I know I'm rocking the boat with that one, but look, I watch film, I see what I see, and this is how I feel. But you're right. He has been so good ever since his freshman year. He's only 20 right now. Only 20. He's got great feet, great hands. He's so athletic and powerful. Bucky Brooks called him the dancing bear. I think that's a pretty good description of him. And run blocking, he's great. Pass blocking, he's great. He's not the best technician, but his athleticism makes up for it. Now, he ran a 5.09 40 at 30 reps in the bench, 28-inch vertical. 28 inches at 331 pounds. That's pretty good. And now he only had 33-inch arms. Most teams won at least 34, but that did not hurt him in college. So I'm sure teams are going to look past that as well. And I can see him going as high as 5 to Cincinnati.
I think that's where he should goes, but yeah, it's kind of that's losing a little steam every one I look at. They keep I don't know. They keep putting Cincinnati with Pitts or Jamar Chase or one of those.
Yeah,
other
and
guys,
I wonder if that's just like, I wonder if that's what they think, if that's what they think they're going to do or think they should do, or if it's kind of like that's just what the mock drafter wants to see.
Yeah, it would be
fun to think of Chase and Burrow back.
Yeah,
together.
That would be cool, but they need so.
It really would.
What's cooler is keeping Joe Burrow on the field. So why don't you just pick a tackle? Jamar Chase isn't going to block for him, but they got Tyler Boyd and some of those other guys. So to me, I think he should go to the Bengals, but I guess we'll have to see how it pans out.
Now, my number 1 tackle is Raeshawn Slater, my number 1 offensive lineman in general. Guy out of Northwestern, also opted out, 6'4", 304 pounds. This guy is versatile. He can play guard. He can play tackle. And unlike Sewell, he wins because of his technique. And I think I value that a little more, having that technique. He also has great footwork, gets to do his pass sets quickly. His dad played in the NBA, if anyone cares about that. So he's got pro athlete genes in him. But another big thing was whenever last year, or I guess 2019, he handled Defensive Rookie of the Year Chase Young. Handled him. Watched the film. Young didn't do hardly anything against Northwestern because Slater was all up in his grill. He also had 33 reps in a bench, more than Sewell. 4.88 40, faster than Sewell. 7.48 3-cone. Sewell had a 7.8. Same 33-inch arms, and he also had a 33-inch vert, which is 5 inches better than Sewell's. He's faster, stronger, more agile than old Penn Sewell, man. He's more versatile, and he's a better technician. Raeshawn Slater is my number one tackle.
Yeah, I like Slater too. I mean, he's definitely going to be a top. Man, I don't know. I guess he'll be a. You would think he's going to be a top 10.
I don't see him getting past Carolina. I know we talked about that, before the show. I just think if he's there, now obviously, if Pitts or Chase is there, I don't see them making it that far though.
Yeah,
but
it's
if
true.
Slater's there, I don't know how you pass on a guy that you can put anywhere on the offensive line that you want.
There's a lot of value in this draft, like you're saying. I mean, these teams.
Yeah, that's why I'm interested with this.
I mean, you can basically take out the first 3 picks. You know what I'm saying? Because they're going to
possibly 4.
Yeah, so you're going to be quarterbacks. So you're looking at like teams in the late, in 8, 9, 10, 11 are going to be getting the number 1 player at that position. You know what I'm saying? Somebody could get the number 1 tackle. Somebody could get the top corner, the top. I mean, that's pretty good. That's good value later on in that top 10. So
we talked about. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I mean, like you said, I mean, I watched that film against Chase Young, and to me, that's the biggest. It's impressive, yeah. And I like him because look, this kid can play right and left. He played right and left tackle at Northwestern, who was more of a. I mean, Northwestern was more of a power running game team, so he can pass block as well. But that Big Ten football, I think, to me, translates pretty good into the NFL. I mean, those teams run those kind of schemes, so. I don't know. I like him, and I think whoever gets him, if Sewell is going to go 5, I mean, whoever gets Slater, I think, is getting, a great player and a starter from day one.
If we're talking top 10 picks, right? So we agree that definitely 4 quarterbacks, possibly 5, are going in the top 10 picks, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so.
All right, so definitely Pitts, definitely Chase. Mm-hmm. So right there, 6 or 7 guys. So there's only 3 spots left.
Yeah.
For Sewell and Slater to go if we think they're going to be top 10. I mean, I think it's going to happen, but you throw in the corners like Surtain or Horn, one of those guys slips in the top 10. It's going to be, man, I'm so excited.
I think somebody will fall in love with Ruggs or Devontae Smith.
Waddle, you mean?
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, Ruggs. I were talking about him earlier. Yeah, he is Henry Ruggs, but yeah, I think somebody will take Waddle, and I think Smith, either one of those 2, I think, will go in the top 10. So then you're looking at, a couple guys left, and you're going to be getting these big old studs. So yeah, if you're a team looking for a guy like this, I mean, this is the best year you could ever dream of, I guess, if you're looking for a big offensive tackle.
Yeah. Another one being Christian Dersault from Virginia Tech, 6'4", 322. This guy started as soon as he got to campus. He's got the right size and mobility to succeed in the NFL. He plays with good pad level. He's good at man and zone blocking. That's important depending on, he's got versatility there. So it doesn't matter what kind of scheme the NFL team runs. He's going to be able to do well for you. And again, a lot like, is it Naji Harris? He improved every year he was on campus. And I think that's important because, if he can improve year after year after year, I mean, you got this guy, he's going to be at an all-pro level. And I see a lot of people having Dwayne Brown comps for him. I think Dwayne Brown went to Virginia Tech as well, so maybe that sort of seeps in people's psyche. Yeah. But, I mean, Dwayne Brown was an awesome tackle for a long time. So that's can't be upset with if you're getting compared to him. And he did not test, so we don't have any numbers on him. He had a core injury that I believe he's recovered from. He did the positional drills, but he did not do 40 or anything like that.
Yeah, I didn't see anything on him, but yeah, he's another big stud. I like him too. He started 34 games, over 3 seasons. So, that's quite the resume right there. I think Sewell only started 20 and Slater opted out last year. So he can only be in the 20s, you would imagine, at Northwestern. So yeah, I mean, this kid's got some talent. I mean, I think he was graded, he had a 94.5 run blocking grade last year. So, he's a good run blocker. And, another kid, I mean, playing at Virginia Tech, I think Virginia Tech averaged like 250 yards rushing a game in the ACC. So he was definitely the anchor of that line. So, yeah, he's going to be another kid. I mean, I can see him going in the top. I mean, he's got to be going in the top 15. I think Slate. Yeah, I think all three of these guys go within the top 15. So, yeah, to me, he's my number 3. But these guys are all pretty close. I mean, they all have great resumes, and they all come from pretty decent schools. And you know, I think he's going to be another. I mean, he's another pencil him in as a starting left tackle day one. So, that's going to be a good value for a team at, in the top 15 to get a guy like him. So I like him.
Yes, I do as well, but I love our next guy. So even though
All right.
Tevin Jenkins, tackle from Oklahoma State, even though he's my 4th rated offensive lineman, he is by far my favorite. And just like Javonte Williams and Elijah Moore, one of my favorite players in this entire draft. He's 6'5", he's 320. He also played all along the line during his 37 games he played in college. So again, very, very experienced. He's not the most athletic. He does use his hands well in pass blocking. He loves to compete, especially in the run game. Very powerful. And I'm telling you, this dude hates people. And here's a quote from, I believe it was Jordan Reed on the Draft Network or one. He's a scout and an analyst for the draft and a site. I have to figure out which one it is. But the quote was, Tevin Jenkins, he enjoys making life 60 minutes of living hell for the man across from him and enjoys demoralizing anyone in his path wearing the opposite colored jersey. And I absolutely love that. And you watch this guy on film, and it is true. He plays to the echo of the whistle. And if he can plant you in the ground, he will. Only gave up 11 pressures in 2 seasons. Impressive.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, my notes on him, he's big, powerful right tackle. And like you said, he's got that finisher's mentality. I mean, he's looking to dominate, you know what I'm saying? And what more could you want from your offensive lineman than to dominate the guy across the ball from you? I mean, he's looking to kick some butt, man, and take some names. So yeah, I like this kid. He's physical. And coming from Oklahoma State, a team that probably throws the ball 60 times a game. So he's had his fair share of, his fair share of, pass blocking reps, I guess. So, he's going to be another kid. I don't know how high he's going to go. I mean, where do you think? I mean, he's going to be, I think he's going to be a 1st round pick. I'm trying to see.
I tell you what, this guy
without the list in front of me with, where he could slot, but he's definitely going to be in the 1st round.
Screams Raiders.
Yeah, I can see that.
I mean, that nasty attitude in a black hole, boy, that'd be a match made in heaven right there.
Wearing that wearing that uniform would be nice.
So the one thing I don't know how to take it. I don't want to say it bothers me a little bit. But so if you watch him on film, he does not seem that athletic. He doesn't move that great. I mean, he dominates, don't get me wrong, but you'd think he'd be a little more athletic. Especially because he tested so well. So he put up 36 reps in the bench. I mean, that's 225 pounds, 36 times. That's 36 is about as high as you get. He ran a 4.96 40, so under 5, a 4.66 shuttle. He had a 32.5-inch vertical. They have it's called an RAS score, and it just scores your overall athleticism, and it goes up to a 10.0. Well, his overall athleticism score was 31st out of all 1,129 tackles that have been drafted since 1987. So since 1987, he is the 31st most athletic offensive tackle to come out in the draft. But he didn't play that way on the field. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I would like to see that on the field more, and maybe it's just something, some NFL coaching can coax it out of him and, convert that testing athleticism onto the field. I don't know, but no matter what, I love him.
Yeah. I mean, so, the skill is there and the athleticism is there. They just need to bring it out into him. So maybe, with the right offensive line coach in the NFL, I mean, I don't know who's the offensive line coach at Oklahoma State, but I'm sure anybody that coaches in the NFL is probably better than the guy that he had. So we'll see. Yeah, maybe with some good coaching, I mean, they can bring that out in him and he can take his game to the next level. So yeah, I mean, he's definitely going to be another guy, I think, that definitely goes 1st round.
Yeah, for sure. And one guy that I keep hearing top 15 talk is actually a guard. Now he played tackle in college, but He's most likely going to be a guard at the NFL level, and that's Elijah Vera Tucker from USC, 6'4", 308. He's first team all Pac-12. He won the Morris Trophy in 2020 as the best Pac-12 offensive lineman. And again, versatility, it's happening over and over again. Like these colleges are training these offensive linemen to do it all. And I think that's really paying off for them whenever draft time rolls around. Because if a team needs a tackle, probably a right tackle. I don't think he's going to be left tackle in the NFL. They need a right tackle, they can take Elijah Vera Tucker. They need a left guard, they got him. Right guard, he's your man. You know, so having that versatility is very important. And the dude is super athletic. He moves really well. He's got great technique. He does all the little things right. But and he also had 36 reps on the bench. Problem is he's got short arms, only had like 32-inch arms or something like that. And NFL teams want 34. But his length wasn't a problem on film if you watch it. However, 32 is 32. But
is what it is.
NFL, according to numerous sources, NFL teams love this guy. So don't be surprised if he jumps up over a Tevin Jenkins or jumps up over a Dersault whenever the draft rolls around.
Yeah, I mean, I like you said, I love the versatility. I mean, to be able to play, you know, guard, and that's huge. You know what I'm saying? Guard, tackle, both sides. I mean, that's huge in today's NFL because, you know, tackles, you know, we watch it with our Eagles, you know, I felt like we're always missing a tackle. Lane Johnson's always out, you know, Jason Peters is always hurt. So, you know, we're always rotating these guys in, and to have a kid like that, I mean, would be key, but I don't know, man. I mean, would you take him in the top 15 if he's going to project as a guard in the NFL? I mean, are you taking him in the top 15 or?
I mean, it all depends on me personally. Like to
me, that's a little high, but for a guard, but
I mean, if I'm a team like Dallas and I know my success comes when I have big, beefy guys up front, the only times in history that Dallas has ever been good, they've had an awesome offensive line. And you add a guy like this, I mean, he helps eliminate the injury bug concern because I mean, like I said, if he comes in and he's playing left guard and then your right tackle goes down, well, just move him, bump him out the right tackle and bring someone in to play left guard. Not everyone can do that. Not everyone's able to flip flop sides and positions and things like that, but he can. So if I'm Dallas and Sewell's gone, right, and Sewell's gone and Slater's gone, I'm not against it. I don't hate it.
Yeah, that would be a good fit for him. I don't know if
they just paid their quarterback a whole lot of money, so they're gonna want to keep him protected.
Yeah, I don't know if he's shiny enough for Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones loves those shiny new toys. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, I mean, to me, I mean that would be a good fit and probably a smart move. I mean, it would probably boost up Zeke's, you know, production a little bit and help Dak stay on the field. But I don't know, man. I guess we'll get into our mock drafts, but I think Dallas is going to make a splash, and I don't know if he would do it for him. I don't know, but yeah, it would be a smart move.
All right. Next up on the docket for me, toss up. I'm not sure where I have them right now, but Samuel Cosme, we'll talk about next, tackle from Texas, 6'7", 300 pounds. He is big and he is physical. He also has tons of experience. He's good getting to the second level, not too strong in close quarters. A lot of his success comes from having good and proper body alignment. He turns his body, gets in the way, which is fine. I mean, he's getting the job done. It's not, you know, I think that's what separates the other guys from him. He needs more work on his fundamentals, but again, 36 reps on the bench. This guy too, 3 guys in a row, bang, 36 reps. These guys are strong. And he ran a 4.8, 4 in the 40. So the guy can move.
Yeah, I mean,
probably why he's good at getting the second level.
Yeah, man, he's a big, you know, tall dude, like you said, 6'7", you know, 310 or whatever plus pounds, and coming from Texas, you know, so he was, you know, he's probably a top recruit, you know, if you're going to go to Texas. So another big kid. I don't know where I have him though. I mean, he's in my top 10 list. I don't know. To me, I don't know if he sneaks into the first round. I don't know. To me, he might be more of a early second round pick guy, but it all depends on what team's looking for what. But I do like him. I mean, the kid's big. I mean, obviously that's what you want as an offensive lineman. And, you know, he started for a few years. I think he's a junior, so he's coming out as a junior. But yeah, I like the size, and I could see him. I don't know. You could see him maybe sneaking into the end of the first round. One of those later, those teams picking from whatever 28 to 32, and depends on who likes what. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what his interviews are doing. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like those teams at the end of the first round always seem to have their guy, and he could be somebody's guy in the first round. It wouldn't completely surprise me, but I don't know. I think he's more of an early second round pick type guy, but he'll be a starter in the NFL. That's for sure.
I know someone who's jumping up draft boards quite quickly and could also be somebody's guy. And that's Liam Eichenberg, tackle from Notre Dame, 6'6", 306. He was a 3-year starter for Notre Dame. He was All-American. Hasn't given up a sack since 2018. Been 30 games since he's given up a sack. He ran a nice shuttle, 4.57, a 7.53 cone drill, 33 reps on the bench. So he's agile. He's strong. But his athleticism and quickness have sort of been a knock, kind of like maybe Tevin Jenkins a little bit. But his testing numbers, again, they state otherwise. He also has shorter-ish arms. They were only like 32 3/4 or something. But, he's all around a really good player. He should be able to play for you immediately. Maybe not left tackle, maybe right tackle. But teams seem to love him. And look, he started 3 years for Notre Dame playing big-time competition, and he hadn't given up a sack in 3 years.
It's tough to do. Especially playing that. You talk about Penn Sewell and some of these other guys. Eichenberg, he's playing at Notre Dame, so they're playing pretty good teams every week. And I'm saying Oregon plays, their few tough games a year. So to not give up a sack is huge. And, he's definitely going to be a starter in the NFL for sure. And I don't know. I think he's another guy. This is hard to do. There's so many decent, good and above average offensive linemen this year. It all just depends on how, I don't know, what owner falls in love with what guy, what I'm saying? We're going to find out soon, but he's another kid that I can see sneaking into the end of the first round, or, definitely going in by the early second round. But to have that resume and to come from Notre Dame, he's a smart kid. Brian Kelly's a pretty decent college coach. I guess you could say he's an above average college coach, but so, this kid's a smart kid, and I think he'll translate good into the NFL.
So I don't think we need to break down anybody else. That's like 7 or 8 offensive linemen right there. But a couple of names to listen out for, unless you have someone you want to break down in particular. Some guy you love.
No, I think we hit them all. There's a ton of guys. A
couple names to keep your ear out for during the draft. Landon Dickerson, center from Alabama. He's very good. He got hurt, but he's the guy that was in the background doing cartwheels during Mac Jones' interview. So his knee seems to be doing okay. So Landon Dickerson, Wyatt Davis, a guard out of Ohio State, Jalen Mayfield, tackle from Michigan. I've heard his name a lot, but I doubt it's going to be called in the first round. But just a couple names: Landon Dickerson, Wyatt Davis, possibly. Oh, and Creed Humphrey. I think he's out of Oklahoma, right?
Yeah.
So and this is just like within the last week or two, I've heard his name being thrown at as like, late first rounder. We're talking pick 29, 30, 31, something like that.
He's a center too, right? Yeah, him and Dickerson are centers. So
but if you're a center, you can play guard.
Yeah, same thing. But and they got who else? You got Trey Smith from Tennessee. He'll probably be a second round pick, and I like Leatherwood a little bit. Coming from Alabama.
Alex Leatherwood, yeah,
he's a big kid. You got that Wyatt Davis from Ohio State. I think he's projected as a guard. So, there's a ton of guys. I wouldn't mind seeing our Eagles taking Dickerson maybe in the second round, because I think Jason Kelsey will probably,
if he's there, that'd be a fantastic pick.
We'll see. I don't know if he'll last that long. but it'd be a good, him or Humphrey to replace Kelsey would be nice. But
sure.
There's a ton of talent, I think, this year, offensive line. We could probably spend 2 hours talking about all these guys, and we're just trying to hit the top 6 or 7. And, there's a ton of of talent there, and great value, I think, for all these teams, because half these guys you're going into the second round now. So to get a starting, right tackle in the second round is great. So I think this year might be the year of the offensive lineman.
Tough to argue that. Like we said, there's a ton of them. Now, on the exact opposite side of the ball here are our defensive tackles. This is going to take about 2 minutes, because I'm telling you right now, it's going to be 2017 all over again, where there were 0 defensive tackles taken in the first round.
Yeah.
Malik McDowell was the first defensive tackle taken in 2017, and it was with like the 3rd pick of the second round, I think. Seattle took him. But most people have Christian Barrymore as their number 1 D tackle. He is not mine. He's my number 2. He's 6'4", 310, first team all SEC. I think he was second in the SEC in sacks. He had 8 sacks this past season. Fast, ran a 4.9 340 with a 4.75 short shuttle. Big. He's strong. He uses it to his advantage. He pushes people around. Very active hands and surprising quickness for a guy his size. The problem, and here we go with my whole mental thing, is a dude takes plays off.
Yeah.
I mean, when he puts it all out there, he's definitely the best defensive tackle in the class and probably a first rounder, but he doesn't have the motor that some of these other guys have. And he's still not a full-time starter. Even this past season, he wasn't. So I would much prefer having a player who's labeled high motor rather than inconsistent. And taking plays off is a mindset, and he's got his mind made up that he's not going to play every single play. But then we look at other guys like, I don't know, Kwity Paye, who we'll talk about next show, an edge guy. I mean, that guy never stops running.
Yeah.
And it's just, I'd much rather have the guy that's going to push himself each and every play and bust his butt rather than the guy who crushes the quarterback one play, but then takes the next 3 plays off.
Yeah, I'm not in love with any of these defensive linemen, to be honest. These defensive tackles. I like them, but I don't think I'd take a first-round pick on any of these guys we're going to talk about. So, and like you said, to me, when you watch Barmore's film, I mean, this year, he is big, he is physical. He came from Alabama. I'm saying he made his plays, but I think he only had. He was kind of hot and cold this year, like you said. I mean, the production isn't steady. You know what I'm saying? So, I think he ended up with eight sacks, but he only had. I think he only had 2 in the first 5 or 6 games, and then he ended up with 6 in the final 6. So, I mean, he stepped his game up, I guess, as the season went on, and they were, obviously playing into the national championship. But yeah, I don't know, man, just that taking the plays off, and you can tell, like, he's just out there filling a gap. You know what I'm saying? He's not really trying to make a play on some of those plays. So to me, if that mindset isn't there in college, I mean, how does that translate over to the NFL? I'm saying you're getting paid. You know what I'm saying? The kid's going to get, obviously become a millionaire. So if the work ethic isn't there when you're doing it in college, is it going to be there in the NFL? And I guess we'll find out. I'm not saying he's going to be a bust or, the kid can make plays. It's just, I don't know. Can they bring it out in him to do it throughout, every play that he's out there? So we'll see what happens with him. But yeah, I don't know. Like you said, I think these 2 guys are going second round. I don't think any of these defensive tackles will go in the first round this year, but
Agreed.
Obviously, what do we know? Both of them will probably go in the first round. So,
well, the other guy you're talking about, Levi Onwuzurike, Washington, he's a little smaller than Barmore, 6'3", 290, but he is a little faster as well. He's very handsy, and people really underestimate how important good hands are all over the football field, whether it's receiver, defensive back, offensive lineman, or defensive lineman. He uses them real well. He's explosive, and guess what he has, Brian? He has a good motor. He's tough to get an initial block on because of his great first step. He's got good body control, good leverage. So I'm an Onwuzurike guy over a Barmore guy.
Yeah. I mean, to me, like you said, he's a little more athletic than Barmore, but to me, the production really hasn't matched, I don't know, his potential, I guess, because I mean, he opted out. He's another guy. He opted out in 2020. 2019, he was all Pac-12. But he had two sacks, and then when you go back to 2018, he had 3 sacks. So I don't know. I'm not taking a first-round pick on a guy that's had 5 sacks in his college career. So we'll see. He could be a good player. He could translate into the NFL. You'll never know. But maybe he hasn't hit his potential yet, and maybe he will into the NFL. So I guess we'll just have to see. But yeah, I don't think I'm taking a first round pick on him.
All right, on to our final position group of the night, and that is linebackers. And this is a very solid group. Now, there's probably, if I had to guess, I would say there's probably only going to be 2 names called in the first round. But I've heard enough. Well, no, I take that back. There's probably going to be 3 names called, but I've heard enough of 2 other guys that we'll go ahead and cover them. But one that, and probably the first name we're going to hear called as far as linebackers go, is your boy, a guy I've heard you gush about quite a few times, Micah Parsons from Penn State. 6'3", 245, so he's got great size. He's smart. He's fast. He's athletic. As far as athleticism goes and what you see on the field, he's possibly one of the best linebacking prospects we've seen in the last several years. He's great at blitzing, and he wants to hurt you. He's true alpha mentality, a great leader on the field. Now, sometimes he can be a little over-aggressive, but his combination of traits are hard to find. And, dude, he ran a 4.39 40.
I was going to say, what was that 40 time? That was lightning fast. Him and that other kid from Penn State. What was the other? Owe?
Jason Owe, yeah.
Yeah, they
4.36, wasn't it? That guy's like 250.
Yeah, those guys are running some 40s down there, man.
I'll tell you what, though,
on the track team, but
if you look at combine results, the Penn State strength and conditioning program is one of, if not the best in the nation. Their guys always test well.
Yeah, that guy needs a raise because those dudes are pumping out them numbers, man, like that. It's pretty good. I know we'll talk about Owe, I guess, probably next week. But yeah, I love Parsons, man, and the Eagles moving back to number 12. It just seems like, I don't know, can he last till 12? Maybe. Will they pick him? Probably not, but I don't know, man. Where do you think Parsons goes, I guess, at this point in the first round? I mean,
there's no way. I think his floor is 15 with the Patriots. I don't think there's a chance. Now, the one knock against Micah Parsons is there was like a weird, like scandal kind of deal go down. I was like a year or 2 ago that did not paint him in the best light. So that could be a character flaw that teams look at. And we don't need to talk about it on here, but you can always look it up on Google. But I don't know. It kind of rubs me the wrong way, too, to be even associated with something like that. So I'm not sure. I would imagine probably some teams, and this is just how it works, whether it's warranted or not, just wipe him right off the board. Like any character concern, they'll just wipe you right off the board. And, a lot of times it makes sense to do that. And, sometimes it bites you in the butt because the player turns out like a Tyreek Hill or something like that, and they're fantastic on the field. But I don't know.
It's just, and to me,
when he's on the field and he's in uniform, he's unreal.
And to me, he's like, I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like he's not getting, I don't know. I think he's fallen. I don't know. He's just not, people are kind of sleeping on him a little bit. I mean, I think earlier on in those,
they were talking top 5 pick.
That's what I mean. Like a month ago, this dude was like a surefire, you know what I'm saying? They were like, oh, he's going to go, 5, 6 or, top 5.
10 for sure.
And now it's just like, you kind of watch these mock drafts and it's like, 12 and 13 and 14. So that could be that. I mean, that could be answering those, obviously those teams, can find out anything about you. You know what I'm saying? They're about to pay you a boatload of money so they can dig up some stuff. And I'm sure he has to answer those questions for those actions and whatnot and getting into kind of a little bit of trouble there. And we'll see what happens. But yeah, I don't know, man. Is he going to slide, or I think he'll go, like you said, I don't think he'll make it past 15, but it's kind of if he goes to 15, I mean, that's a lot of money lost on his end, you know what I'm saying? Because a month ago he was number 5. So if you're going to go 15, I mean, that's millions of dollars. But so I don't know. It is what it is. He's, like you said, when he's on the field, the production's there. He's big. He's physical. He makes plays, and he'll be a starter from day one, and I'm sure he'll be a stud. So excited to see where he goes.
Well, another guy who's going to start from day one and be a stud is another one of my absolute favorite players in the entire draft. I have been on this guy for months. And that is a linebacker out of Tulsa, 6'4", 260 pounds. That's right, 6'4", 260. Throwback big boy, Zavin Collins. He was the Bronco Nagurski winner, which is the best defensive player in the country. And I feel like he is one of like the most under the radar winners ever. It's like nobody knew who this guy was, but he is very versatile. He can play in the box. He can play on the edge. He can blitz. He can cover. Now, he's not the fastest guy on the field. So if you get a super shifty slot guy or really fast tight end, I mean, he's not going to be covering Kyle Pitts. I'll tell you that right now. But he will give defensive coordinators lots of options on how to utilize him, especially for his size. He's so versatile and athletic for his size. I mean, 6'4", 260. He can make plays in the running game. He can rush the passer, cover guys, like I said. I mean, you watch this on film, he is everywhere, all over the field. And again, his 40 time is like a 4.67, but that's fine for him, being as big as he is. 35-inch vertical, so he's explosive. The best comp I can come for him is Brian Urlacher. And I'm telling you right now, if you promised me I was drafting Brian Urlacher, he'd be a top 10 pick for sure.
Yeah, I like this kid too, coming out of Tulsa. Like you said,
I love him.
Big kid, big size. I mean, and he's athletic. So I think he had 4 picks this past year. I mean, that's pretty good for a linebacker in college. You know what I'm saying?
He had 11 and a half tackles. This is just this year. 11 and a half tackles for loss, 4 sacks, 4 picks, 2 of which he took to the house. One of those was a 96-yard pick six in overtime or double overtime to win a game. He had 2 pass breakups, a safety, a forced fumble, and a fumble recovery. The dude literally had every single stat you could possibly. I don't know if he had a block kick.
Yeah,
he may not
have. We might have to look that up, but yeah.
So I don't know what his problem was, that he couldn't block a kick, but he did literally everything else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was a 3-year starter, so he has that, that experience in college, and he was, he's got his snaps in there, and I think he had 235 tackles. So you're looking at in his career, so you're looking at 80, 80 plus tackles a year.
And that's only with 53 this past year with the shortened season.
Yeah, so I think he only played. Well, Tulsa's in the they're in the AAC, so I think they only played the 8 games. So not bad. I mean, you're looking at 7 tackles a game for him. So but kid that does everything. I think he lines up at every linebacker position that every spot at at linebacker. So he'll be good in the NFL, man. I think he'll definitely be. I think he's going first round. I think I can see him going late first round pick this year.
So he's my Javonte Williams, and Parsons is my ETN. So Parsons is more explosive and all that stuff, but I think in the end, Zavin Collins is going to end up with a better career long term.
Yeah. I mean, that size. I mean, he could hold up longer than Parsons. We'll see.
Then probably the only other linebacker that's going to go in the first round be Jeremiah Owusu Coramoa, and I use the term linebacker lightly because he is lightly. 6'1", 221. And I think he put on some pounds for his pro day. He's smaller, but he's fast and he's quick. He can play all over the field. He had a 4.15 short shuttle with 36.5-inch vertical, 6.81 3-cone. I think he's the only guy we've talked about tonight that's in the 6s for his 3-cone deal. But he's very good at blitzing, and I feel like when I watch him on film, 90% of the time he's either covering a receiver or he's blitzing. He can play the run. He's not afraid to. He's instinctive. He's a big time playmaker. He made a lot of big plays in Notre Dame, and he brings the pain, man. If he can lay the wood on you, he absolutely will. Now, because he's little, he has kind of trouble disengaging from blockers, but he's almost like an Isaiah Simmons type. Now, the Cardinals have not utilized Isaiah Simmons probably as they should, like he was in college, but Coramoa is in the same mold.
He is. To me, he's almost more of a safety. You know what I'm saying? He's a hybrid. I don't know, a hybrid linebacker.
Nickel linebacker, bring him in.
Like a Malcolm Jenkins. Like Malcolm Jenkins is always up on the line, either blitzing or covering somebody. But this kid's good. I mean, he's going to be a first round pick, and I think he won the Buckus Award, which is the nation's top linebacker, I guess, in 2020. But I don't know. Yeah, like you said to me when you watch the film, I mean, this guy's always out in pass coverage or he's blitzing off the edge. So. We'll see how he does in the NFL. I mean, I guess the Isaiah Simmons comp is pretty good. Like you said, I think Isaiah Simmons he was a rookie last year, so I think he might have a little better year coming in this year. But he's that type of player, that kind of that in between size. You know what I'm saying? He's not. I think in Notre Dame he only played at like 210 or 215. So
yeah, I think I saw him listed at 216. I think.
Yeah, so he definitely put on 5-6 pounds, I guess, for the pro day to get into the 220s, I guess. But
crushing Big Macs before he weighed in.
Yeah, but I'm saying in the NFL, I mean, is he going to, if you're playing linebacker, you got to get off blocks of those big offensive linemen, and we'll see how they do it. He's going to me, obviously we always, the fit, I don't know. We'll see what team he goes to, and, can they utilize his skill set? Because I think he's kind of a unique player who has athleticism, and, we'll see what he does. I don't know. I'm kind of excited to see where he goes, and I definitely think it'll be
what's going to matter most for him. Like Zavin Collins can go. He's a guy that can go just about anywhere. But Owusu Coramoa, he's got to go to the right place.
Yeah, he has to. It has to be a good fit, or you're not going to hear much of him next year. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yep.
Like you said, I mean, Isaiah Simmons. I mean, I love. We both liked him.
Loved him.
Clemson, and you didn't hear a whole lot from him. I mean, last year you heard a few things. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't. To me, I thought it was going to be more. So that fit, I think he needs
like defensive rookie of the year, maybe.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And he definitely wasn't even in the.
No.
He wasn't even in question. You know what I'm saying? So, to me, we'll see where he goes. I'm excited to see where he goes, and I hope it's a right fit, because I hope it pans out. I think he's got some skills, and I hope he goes to the right team that can utilize those skills.
Right. Two other guys. I'll just go over each one of them quickly, and then you could
all right,
chime in if anything you want to add.
Okay.
That I don't think are going to be first round picks, but they have a shot. I know I've heard their name float around in first round of mocks out there, but Nick Bolton from Missouri, 6 foot, 231. I have him down as a teeth rattler. He likes to hit. He's explosive. Good size for NFL linebacker. He's got tons of energy leading the defense. He's got a really good knack for finding the ball carrier. His go big or go home mentality to make plays, it works, but it also causes him to miss some plays, overrun some plays. He doesn't get off blocks real well, and not real great testing. 4.6, 40, 24 reps on the bench, which is fine, but it doesn't excite you. Now, Jamin Davis from Kentucky, this guy tested like a wacko, man. 4.45-ish on the 40-inch vertical, I think. Or I'm sorry, 42-inch vertical, 11-foot broad jump. He's big, he's tough. Obviously, he's explosive. He can play inside or outside. 6'4", 234. So again, another guy with some good size. He's great against the run, good lateral movement, solid in coverage. He didn't, like you mentioned with some of our other guys, he didn't really produce a whole lot in college, not a whole lot of production, and he doesn't look all that fast. He doesn't look 4.45 on tape, whereas ETN looks faster than his 40. He doesn't look quite as fast as his 40 time says, but he's got lots of potential, and his arrow's definitely pointing up. He's another guy within the like Liam Eichenberg. In the last 2 weeks, I've seen his name pop up in more first round mocks than before.
Yeah, he's definitely catching steam, and I think he'll. I have him in the second round, but we'll see. But I wouldn't.
Me too.
I wouldn't be completely surprised. You know what I'm saying?
Early seconds, first half of the second.
Yeah. But I guess if he were to sneak into the latter half of the first round, you know what I'm saying, I wouldn't be completely surprised. But he's definitely catching steam, and like you mentioned before, Bolton, I kind of like that kid. I think he only played in 10 games this year. He had 95 tackles, so I mean that kid, he's all over the field. Likes to make plays. Kind of a rangy type player. He's aggressive, which could be good. It could be bad in the NFL. You know what I'm saying? Teams could kind of target that aggressiveness, but I don't know. I like him, and I like Jabril Cox from LSU too. I don't think he'll be a first round pick, but he'll be
I knew you were going to bring him. I purposely didn't because I knew you were going to say something.
I like him though. I mean, so here's a kid. He didn't play at LSU his whole career. I mean, he was at North Dakota State.
Yep.
Won a couple FCS national championships. Won a national championship at LSU.
He didn't miss a beat making the jump.
Yeah. So, I mean, he produced, man. He went from North Dakota State to LSU and still produced. I think over his 3-year career, he had 258 tackles, 14 sacks, 6 interceptions. So, I don't see him going in the first round, but he'll be an early second round guy and a surefire starter, I think, from, for whoever picks him. I think he's a day one type starter guy too. Gotta love those linebackers from LSU, man. Who's the who's the cat from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Devin White, right? That
Oh
kid.
yeah,
I mean, he's a linebacker
great.
at LSU. I mean, the last half
I mean
of
it's
that.
LSU.
is-
They got receivers, defensive backs. I mean, Joe
Yeah,
Burrow, quarterbacks now, running backs,
they do it everything. Yeah,
Fournette and
receivers.
CEH.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think he'll make some noise. I don't see him going in the first round, Cox, but yeah, I think. I mean, he's going to be. You're getting some value for sure in the second round if you're getting him. So I like him.
Yeah, man, I agree. That's a lot. That was a lot of information there. Quite
A lot of
a few
guys.
positions, yes. So then later this week, we're hoping to catch up since we missed one and do another show, and we'll finish it up with edge rushers, corners, and safeties, right?
Yeah, some
And
secondary guys.
that'll be
and
everybody. Then we can dip into our mock drafts before the real deal.
I was going to say we don't have too much time. What do we got? 2.5 weeks, I guess, right before we're
right.
making some picks here. So that's a good time of year, man. And I know you had mentioned prior to the show some of these teams are canceling some OTA type stuff. So
Right.
hopefully, we'll see. Hopefully this all clears up a little bit. We get some. Obviously, we're going to play some football this year, but
They're just being lazy.
yeah, I think they added that second or that 17th game, so you got to cut out. You got to cut out some OTAs, and you got to. I think they're playing one less preseason game, right? That was part of the deal, right? Correct. They only do 3, so
they're not playing the one that no one played in anyway.
Yeah, so it'll be all right. We'll be good, but yeah, it's a good time of year. I love the draft, and we'll get back at it in a couple days and finish off our prospect stuff and get into our mock draft. So yeah, I'm excited.
Sounds great. Again, check out our folks at www.thediaperdust.com. Check out our boy Dunson, Spotify everywhere. And check us out. Brian, where can you find us?
Yeah, man. Facebook, we always post a video so you can see our faces. And then we got Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora. There's a million apps. So, if there's an app that produces a podcast, you can type in B&B's Football Happy Hour and we'll probably come up. So
had a couple folks do it in Jamaica.
There you go. Yeah, we're going international, so
that's right.
We'll have to check the map and to see if they're going to be downloading it. So we'll see.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe we can get some. Get some free trips out to Jamaica if we can go big out there. We'll see.
Yeah. Twitter too. Did you say Twitter?
Yeah, Twitter. I know you're
at RWall16, RWAUGH16.
Yeah, man. Check us out. We'll post a video and let us know. I know we're gonna be doing some polls, so I'm gonna be excited to hear back from some of our loyal Facebook posters. We're gonna do some of our stuff. We'll see who. Maybe we'll post a running back type scenario, and we'll see what people think. So it's a good time of year. Man. I know everybody's excited, and we'll catch you in a few days.
All right. Have a good one. Thanks for listening.
All right.